All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Cinderful Gaming, and welcome to Cinderful Gaming's Age of Sigmar Soulbound roleplay stream. We're already off to a great start, but today I'm joined by three lovely hobbyists, and if you don't know me, well, my name's Luke, and I'll be your GM for this evening. But we'll get into the people who are important next, and we'll go into them. They'll be introducing themselves and their characters to Age of Sigmar Soulbound, and we'll start with Ash down the bottom there.
G'day guys, my name's Ash. I'll be playing Kadir Al-Kathar, a bright battle mage from the Aspyxian plains in Akshi. He's travelled through Batar and followed with a trade pioneer from there through to Hammerhall Aksha, where he then transferred through the realm gate to Gairan, and he's been travelling around the realms since and has met with in the city of Phoenicium. He met with a spirit guardian, which he now calls Icarus, and is shaped like a phoenix, little phoenix hatchling. So Kadir is he's a little bit quiet spoken, but he's very smouldering, very sort of ashen faced, ashen haired, and he's I guess you could say that he's embodies the realm that from which he is from. He's very powerful battle mage, using the magics of actually the realm of fire.
Awesome. We'll go to Andrew next, the man with the big red beard, the real Gotrek.
Hi all. I'm the real Gotrek on Twitter. Andrew is my name. I'm playing Tiara. She is Tiara Brightstone. She is a Duarden trade pioneer. She's from a small town in Haish called Crystalmere, and she's the first generation of children born into the town after it was settled not long after Sigmar opened the realm gates. And she had a life-altering experience when some Stormcast appeared to help defend the town against a marauding ogre tribe, and at which point she just could not settle down. She one day confronted Mum and Dad and said, "No, I'm sorry, I'm going to become a trade pioneer. I'm off to see the realms." And it was on one of those journeys, after she'd been travelling the realms for some time, that she was approached by the Order of Azir. And they suggested that she might want to join the ranks of the Soulbound, and she didn't hesitate for a second, because that's everything she'd hoped to accomplish. And so she signed up straight away. And hopefully she's going to one day travel back to Crystalmere in Haish and inform her parents how big a hero she's become.
Awesome. And we'll go to our last player for this evening. DJ, introduce yourself and your character, mate.
Hi, guys. I'm DJ. I know both Andrew and Ash from Warhammer, basically, from Age of Sigmar and Heresy and stuff like that. So I'm new to Soulbound. I think I'm the only person here who hasn't played it before, so hopefully I won't drag us down too much. But I'm going to be playing a Stormcast. His name's Oberon Thunderfist of the Raven Peak Mists. He's a knight incantor from the Lions of Sigmar. So he's tall, hulking brute of a man. Always is seen wearing his lion-shaped helm. No mortal has ever seen him without his helm. And he can remember being reforged twice. The most recent time's the one that he's sort of most bitter about, and the time before that, he knows for a fact he's been recast another time before that, but he's a bit sort of hazy on the details earlier than that. He doesn't remember his life as a mortal all that well. He gets little hints and flashes of it, but nothing sort of, like the others. He's unsure of his backstory. He does remember he spent quite some time in Azir helping with the recasting of the other Stormcasts, and as part of his chamber's sacred duties to go out and find out what's going wrong with the reforging process, and if there's things that they can do to improve that process. As I said, he's from the Raven Peak Mists, which is in Uglu. He's been stationed there for as long as you can remember being on the mortal planes other than Azir, that's where he's been stationed. They have like a small peak there, a small keep, sorry. And he wears a lion cloak over his other cloaks and stuff like that. And you see he's also got some small sort of raven totems. Like he's got a small raven skull around his neck, and there's probably like a few feathers hidden in his cape and things like that. So, yeah, he's obviously not sort of as open and forthright as the other characters, partly because he doesn't know a lot about himself, and also because he wants to guard that which he does know to himself.
Awesome. So that's our characters for this evening and for the campaign going forwards. So a little bit, I guess, about the group as a whole. Myself, Ash, and Andrew were all playtesters in Age of Sigmar Soulbound. We've all playtested the game and we've been playing for quite some time. DJ is one of our friends and he's joining us in playing this campaign. So as you can see, all our players are pretty much sticking to the archetypes provided by the book. There are other ways you can play Age of Sigmar Soulbound and such, but we're going to be playing mostly by archetypes in this campaign, as we find there's just so much good that can be had with the archetypes. But I'll go a little bit into the story, because the interesting thing for Age of Sigmar Soulbound is that there's already a connection between the characters. So for those who don't know, the characters within the campaign are soulbound, so that is where the game gets its name from. Soulbound is effectively their souls literally being fused together. Now, Stormcast are not a part of this, so DJ, you don't get to be a part of this, but his soul is already given to Sigmar himself. But the other characters, Andrew and Ash, both their characters, Tiara and Kadir, can pretty much use and draw upon each other's soul power throughout the campaign. So let's hope they get along, because that's pretty important to it. To start with, I'm going to go through a little bit of a blurb, because one of the main things is they are heroes to begin with. These guys are well known throughout the Mortal Realms. To start with, they're all heroes. So I'm going to go through the task in which they have been destined to fulfill by the gods themselves. So we'll go into a little bit of narrative, and then we'll get kicking into our campaign properly after that. So, in the Age of Myth, mighty warriors bound together by their very souls, tasked with defending the realms from the terrors that would seek them ruined. These warriors bound together were known as the Soulbound. Warriors who were the epitome of order, justice, and all that which is true in the realms. Though few in number, their strength and faith in the Pantheon saw them through even the most dire of situations, their heroics turning the tide in battles and entire wars alike. One such group, known to history as the Kingslayers, is where our story begins. Tasked by Sigmar, the would-be Kingslayers, unrivaled among the Soulbound, a group of mighty warriors consisting of human, elf, dwarden, and others alike, were told to seek out the Beast King Grusharak, a god beast, and bring his head before Sigmar. The Soulbound warriors tracked the Beast King across the realms, and eventually they found their quarry at the far outer reaches of Gur. They found the monstrosity feasting upon the flesh of his brother and sister god beasts. Gigantic carcasses littered the edge of the realm of beasts, and Grusharak had swelled so large he could no longer stand upon the realm itself. Nothing is known of what happened in that encounter, only that the Beast King was defeated on that day. His body and soul, infused with the power of 100 other god beasts, could not be destroyed, and so the Pantheon split his body apart, hiding it across the mortal realms in secret vaults, forever hidden from time. That was until the Necroquake. Now Sigmar sends his new Soulbound to track down and find the ancient tombs containing the pieces of the Beast King and bring them to him so they do not fall into enemy hands. So, that is where our story begins. They are tracking down the pieces of the Beast King Grusharak. So, we're going to jump right into this game, and I'm going to get everyone to tell me their initiative as we enter into a deep, dark tomb. So, initiative, please, everyone.
4. I'm initiative 5.
So, Ash is initiative 5. Andrew?
4.
Yep. And DJ?
I was 4 as well.
Cool. Alrighty, I'm going to look. So, you will all be going first, as you guys have managed to find this mysterious-looking spherical item in the middle of this tomb you have all been exploring. and one of you gets to choose to be on top of the pillar. So who is going to go grab this thing from the pillar?
I imagine since Kadir is the sort of swiftest of the group, he's probably the one up ahead. He's been sort of scouting ahead with his spirit guardian, following him around sort of protectively, and so he'll be up on the pillar, grabbing this strange sphere off the pedestal.
Tiara will be covering him with her rifle.
No worries. And DJ, where is Oberon?
Standing with them, basically, weapons drawn, keeping an eye out to see if anything happens when we go and touch the sphere.
Cool. And so it starts, obviously, with you guys trying to attempt to touch the sphere, and all you can hear is this chittering and squeaking and scurrying coming out from the cracks in the walls. You see these vile, bipedal, rat-like creatures crawling out of crevices, coming down from the roof and coming out from the way you came.
Skaven, the Skaven are here.
We're going to enter into combat, and we are going to start with the top of Ash. So Ash, you will be in zone 1. You are a dead center of the room. Andrew, you're down in zone 2, just below him, along with DJ.
What zone are the rats in?
The rats are in zones from zones 4 to 10.
Okay.
All right, and so we're in the center of the room, and then sort of surrounding us is where these rats are all coming out, spilling out of the walls.
Yep, there are 2 clan rats in each zone, so you have a grand total of 8? 8 clan rats.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to start straight off. I see these sort of rats scampering forwards towards me. I think I've grabbed the sphere. Kadir grabs the sphere and sort of attempts to sort of put it into a pouch, perhaps, and hide it away.
Yep. As you grab the sphere, you notice that a black spherical dot inside it rolls around and sort of stares at you.
How intriguing! This is this must be one of the relics that we've come to find. And Kadir sort of turns around to make his way out, and then hears the Skaven, the rat folk, following around, sort of appearing around him, and he shouts a warning to the rest of the party. Alert everyone! The Skaven are here, and it looks like they're here to protect this relic. We need to fight our way out. It looks like. And Kadir's going to straight up start out by casting a fireball. Why not?
So you're able to go from zone, pretty much any zone you can touch at this point with a fireball.
I've got medium range. So I'm going to target zone. We said that they're in zone 6 to 10.
10. Yep. So I'll make the note of 6 all the way around, literally the sides of the room. 10 is the doorway.
Okay, I think I want to try and blast a way straight through the doorway so that we can start to defend that position.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just cast a fireball. It's a DN 5/2 channeling check.
Go for it. There we go.
All right. So we've got 4 successes there. So each of those Skaven in that zone take 5 damage, and that zone is caught on fire as a minor hazard for 1 turn.
As you launch your fireball over the heads of both Oberon and Tiara, they see this fireball sort of launching over their heads from you atop this plinth, and just the 2 ratmen scurrying up the passageway from whence you have all come just burst into the fire, and their bodies drop in piles of ash, just utterly destroyed.
Blast them to smithereens.
So the doorway is now free. However, there are ratmen in the 2 zones either side of where both Oberon and Tiara are.
Cool. And I think I'm just going to use my movement to start coming down the stairs towards the rest of the party.
Yep. So you'll move into the same zone, into zone 2 with the others.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So now you only have access to zone 6 and 9. Right. Next up. So it is up to you guys who wishes to go next. You're both initiative 4 and higher than any Skaven.
I'll go and try and blow one out of the way. So if in that case you can then close on the other one. So how's that
Sounds good.
sound, everyone? Yep.
So
Simple question. Then 6 or 9. That's literally how it goes.
6.
Done.
Okay, so I'm going to move. So they are 2 zones away from me. However, my rifle is long range. So I am going to move into 1 zone closer, and then I'm going to shoot the closest rat.
Yep.
What is their defense like?
They are poor.
Okay, so I'm 1 up. So I'm looking for 3s. Ooh, and that would be 3 successes, 2 of them are 6s. So that damage would be 2 plus successes, so is that 5? Oh, sorry,
Yep.
2, so 4.
So one of the ratsmen in that zone is obliterated as your bullet punches its skull and explodes its head into a gory mess.
He's all yours, Oberon.
The one that you just killed, or the other one?
The other one.
The other one in the same zone, huh?
Also, just so that everyone's aware, I've also used my arcane discipline so that the 2 of you can enter the minor hazard that I've created from my fireball without getting hurt.
Oh,
Excellent.
That's probably useful.
Yeah, good information to have. Yeah.
Yes.
So they're in zone 6. We're in zone 2. Is that correct?
Yeah. So effectively, they're just to your left.
Okay. So I don't have to worry in terms of range because looking to throw again basic spellcaster here. So looking to throw an arcane bolt at them.
Yep. There's 1 Skaven remaining in that zone.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. So it's a mind roll.
Mind channeling.
Yep. So I've got 4/1. I get an extra 1 because I've got 2 in channeling, and then I've got the ability to turn 1 up because of focus.
Yep.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right. Cool. So I've got 5 and a 6. So I can turn them both up to 6 either way. So the target's going to take 2 damage.
As your sort of shard, what color is your shard of energy that you're going to shoot out?
Light heavenly blue.
A heavenly blue. So this heavenly blue shard erupts from your hands, aimed at the Skaven, and it just strikes him in the chest, throwing him back against the wall as lightning sort of crackles, and he just bursts out in pieces. Not sort of gory or bloody in any way, just fractures from the sheer arcane might, ripping apart his very soul.
You don't. None of you see it, but Oberon quietly smirks beneath his helm.
And so now we're going to go to the Skaven. So there we go.
Look out, friends! Here they come.
And the Skaven are just going to move. So we're going to have 2 of them move into the zone on which all of you are in. So 2 clan rats are now going to move in from zone 9 to zone 2, so from the other flank. And we'll see if they can do anything. So we're going to have one of them try and strike the first wizard that erupt with flames as they see you as a bigger threat. The one with fire, rats never like fire, so they're going to go into it.
Yep.
So let's have a look at what do we do with the Skaven. So, they're terrible. So we'll go. So the first Skaven rushes up towards Kadir. Tries to swing with his spear and just completely misses. Just sort of can't get it right. Doesn't go in far enough and sort of lashes as Kadir just sort of moves slightly back and the spear runs out of range.
Yeah,
another one then.
He sort of dodges out of the way and gets his quarterstaff up in the way.
As his friend comes up beside him, and tries to strike Tiara, thinking, the gun is turned the other way, I'm going to try and sneak. However, just completely mistimes its spear lunge, and sort of, you hear like sort of this scraping as it just misses you, sort of hits the butt of your gun, and you're like, oh, there's something behind me.
Oh,
And the rest of the Skaven, You can see the rest of the Skaven sort of moving up as a couple will even start to come up over the plinth, and we go back to the start of initiative. So now all the Skaven are closer, so you can now see every Skaven in the room. There are 2 atop the plinth, and all the ones have pretty much moved down a zone. So you now have 2 in the zone which you've just cleared, 2 in your zone, 2 to the zone to your flank, and pretty much all the zones you can see except the gateway, which has no Skaven in it and is still on fire right up until now when Ash goes.
Okay, awesome. So the cinders start to sort of fizzle away where these where the entrance was, and Kadir is now in the same zone as the rest of his Soulbound, isn't he?
Yeah. So okay. All 3 Soulbound are in the same zone. There are 2 Skaven clan rats in your zone as well.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So Kadir is going to cast incandescent form because he needs to protect himself because he's not super tough. So he's going to try and cast that one. So it's a 5/2 channeling check, which he gets 3 successes. Sorry, because of his focus. So that's what we needed. We only needed 2 successes. So that is going to be +2 to my armor, and my melee and accuracy against me is reduced 1 step. All
right, so the Skaven are in trouble to even try and hurt you.
Yeah. So that's going to last for 3 rounds because I got 3 successes.
No worries. You can't. No other actions for you to make?
I think Kadir is going to. I think I'm going to move into the sort of the next chamber, the next zone along towards the door. So you're going to move into the doorway zone, which is zone 10. Yeah, exactly. Cool.
And so, just for note, the hallway is pretty long. We'll split it down into another 2 zones. The hallway sort of just keeps going. So you can see where Ash is pretty much the entranceway of this hallway. You've then got the middle of the hallway and the other entranceway to that hallway.
Cool.
Which will be different zones. So that's Ash's turn. So we'll continue with Andrew and Tiara up next.
Okay, Tiara is going to follow her companion into the corridor and then shoot one of the Skaven that is pursuing her as she does so. That's 3, 6, so 1's a 2, but I've got focus, so that becomes a 3, so all 3 hit. So that's 4 damage again.
So as you're sort of retreating, you just stop for a split second, line up your shots, and blast another Skaven's brains out.
Yep.
So that leaves just 1 in the zone with Oberon. And I'm sure we know what he's going to do next to that poor Skaven sap.
Excellent. Well, Oberon's faced Skaven before, and he knows, their strength lie in their numbers. So his priority is to knock them down nice and quickly. So he takes his quarterstaff and he intends to swing to take the feet of the Skaven out and then crush it down upon his skull as he's falling over. So
make an attack roll.
Yep. So and were they poor, you said?
Yes, they are poor.
Yep, cool. So I've got 3 successes.
So literally you just sort of whack its sort of feet under it. It tries to rebalance itself with its tail, but your staff is long enough that it even hits the tail out the way as well. And then you, as it's lying on the floor there, you just sort of bring your quarterstaff down upon its skull, just cracking it, and you see like sort of the...
Just give a little quarter twist at the end of it.
Yeah. Just to make sure it's good and dead. So Skaven are up next. They all sort of begin to go more and more. Another 2 enter the zone with Oberon, so he now has 2 Skaven in the zone with him. Make that 4 clan rats in the zone with him now. As we begin to start to see where more and more Skaven appear. So there are now 4 Skaven in the zone with Oberon, 4 Skaven to the left in zone 6. And there are 2 more atop the middle zone where Kadir originally was. So at the start of the Skaven's activation, you can hear this rumbling and this crack, and all of a sudden this crumbling, as zone 11, the hallway crumbles. You just see this explosion of fire and ash, and the rock tumbles from cutting off your exit through that way. You knew the entrance was easy to get to, but you will have to find a different way out and fight your way through the pestilent ratman. Now the Skaven are going to make some attacks, so they are going to all try and get Oberon, as he's decided I'm good enough to try and fight lots of them. So
yourself, Oberon.
now your defense, I'm pretty sure I know your defense anyway. So let's go. They're going to try and hit. They are going to get some bonus though, because they're now swarming you. So we're going to let's see if they can get over. They are going to have 2 successes this time, and it's 1+. So what is your armor?
2.
So they're going to put damage on. Sorry. Yeah, they're going to put 1 damage onto you. Knock you down 1 point.
1 point of toughness?
Yeah, 1 point of toughness down. So they managed to actually get 3 points of damage through the swarm of them. Skaven do get deadly in swarms, which is really cool. They get some bonuses for doing it.
We need to break them apart.
So you have 4.
Away.
So you now have 4 Skaven in that zone with Oberon as he's trying to fight them all off. 2 Skaven in the zone originally where Kadir was in the center of the room, and 4 Skaven to either side. All clan rats.
Cool.
And that's back to me, yeah?
Yep, so top of the order. So your zone is still clear. It's just the middle chamber collapsed.
All right. I think I'm gonna. I'll shout out to Oberon. Oberon, you need to guard yourself. Watch out for the fire. And I'm gonna cast another fireball into his zone to try and singe these little rats that have come to attack him. So yeah, going another fireball. And that is gonna be. What does it need? Needs 2 successes. So I got 2 successes. And then I can use my focus to make another success. So that's 3 successes. So that's going to be 4 damage onto each of those Skaven in that zone.
So 3 of the clan rats are obliterated by a fireball, completely unexpected. However, 1 is lucky enough to be standing behind Oberon. And as Oberon shields himself from your flames, the clan rat luckily just manages to sort of avoid being hit.
Okay, so if that clan rat is still in that zone at the start of its turn, it's going to be in a minor hazard.
Yeah. No worry. So we'll put the minor hazard up because that might be important if Oberon doesn't kick its butt. So are we wishing to stick with the same order of your 2 initiative?
Oberon should probably go for next, I think.
Cool.
All right. So Oberon sees the damage that fireball does and sees there's one Skaven sort of hiding in his shadow and sort of gives a grunt. You're not quite sure whether it's an approval one or a judging one, but anyway, without saying another word, he swings his staff around and looks to strike this last Skaven down.
Cool. Go for
it. So I have 4 successes.
Yep, this poor Skaven just in your shadow, you just sort of turn around, still see there's one behind you, and just swing the quarterstaff in a mighty arc, sort of almost like bisecting it with such sheer force as you swing. Just
only a
slumps to the ground.
Stormcast could bisect someone with a blunt force object.
Well, the top of the stuff's got spikes on it and stuff.
That's true.
I like to think it's just the sheer amount of force a Stormcast can put into a weapon that it's just cracked right through with that amount. Also, it's magical, so we're imagining lightning power strikes through the poor Skaven as well. And now we'll go to Tiara, as she's also in the same zone as Kadir.
Okay, so
there's no Skaven. So I'll explain. So the zone there that he's now in has no Skaven. You can't see the 2 zones because you're in the to your left and right because the wall blocks them. However, there are 2 Skaven atop the plinth, which you can clearly see.
I will, because I've moved away to start to get down the corridor, which is now collapsed. So I will move back into the zone that Oberon is in. And as I do, I'll take aim at one of the rats on the plinth and shoot. 2 successes. One's a 2 though, so my focus makes it 3 successes.
Awesome. And yeah, just you can see this one ratman starts to climb over the plinth as it's just met in its chest with this projectile, and it sort of you just see it fall out of view on the other side. And now we'll go into the clan rat's turn, unless there is anything else you wish to do with Tiara.
Nope.
No. For those watching as well, while we're talking on this, you can use metal to get some extra actions, which is why I keep asking the players if they're finished, even though they've made their actions. So the Skaven from that didn't get shot off the plinth jumps down and is going to try and take a strike at the at Tiara. However, it's going to be a minor hazard, so it's going to have some negatives to go through. And the other one is so it misses with its attacks, tries to strike, but as it's trying to sort of maybe its tail might have got singed a bit by the fire that is still erupting in the thing, and it gets a little bit jittered and sort of just completely misses its swing with its rusty spear. The other Skaven sort of stalk around the outside. They're not quite willing to go into a zone that's on fire. And you can see they're sort of starting to second think their ambush now.
Especially because there's a Stormcast standing in the middle of the fire, whacking them down as soon as they appear.
I mean that looks cool as hell in my mind. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, yeah. Pyrotechnics, you know.
Yeah. And they sort of can't see where the fire's coming from. So at this point, they're going to all sort of, you see the 4 Skaven on either side, they sort of come over and they sort of just lock together, just sort of bracing for any impact you guys might have at them. And we'll go back into the top of initiative order with Ash and Kadir.
Awesome. Kadir is going to... so we said that we've cleared off the top of the altar again?
There's one of them that's in the same zone as the characters now. There's nothing on the altar. And you've got the 2 zones left and right now that you can't actually see while you're in the gateway. Okay.
I think Kadir is going to just cast an arcane bolt onto the one that's in the same zone as us. Just try and finish that guy off. Oh, baby. That is 5 successes. So that's 6 damage onto this unfortunate Skaven.
The Skaven doesn't even get knocked back off its feet as you manage to make so much Kamehameha energy that this thing just evaporates. Everyone's seen the animes of what I'm explaining as this much magical energy just shoots out, just a blue blur around the Skaven, and it sort of just evaporates in a mist of this blur of energy.
Yep.
Effectively, you rolled a 10 plus for that arcane bolt and did 3 mortal wounds.
And then Kadir is going to approach the central plinth again to see if he can spot any other way out from where he was standing in that central plinth.
Yeah, we'll do that in your next action, unless you wish to spend some metal now.
Sure. Do we regain metal at the start of the battle, right? At the start of a new battle, or is that each turn?
Pretty much, yeah.
Medals once an encounter.
Yeah, okay, cool. I probably don't want to spend my metal on this one just yet. I'll save that up.
Cool. So you just sort of move into the next zone and sort of get ready to sort of try and start looking around. The other 2, so you have 4 clan rats either side of you in the 2 zones, both sort of bracing for whatever might be coming their way. So who is going to go first?
All you, Oberon.
I'll just like bark to him curtly. I've got the ones on the left. So could I just walk straight into their zone?
Yeah, you can walk into their zone.
You could charge at them if you wanted to attack them in combat.
Oh no, I've got to be walking through the flames, slow motion style, like my cloak's ruffling, like the feathers being wrinkled in the updraft
as you walk out.
Yeah. Exactly. And as I'm doing, do you have which side?
I do.
You do?
I do.
All right, so you can see the sort of the magic gathering around me as I attempt to cast Arcane Wave.
Here we go.
All right. So I've got 3 successes.
Oh,
So they all need to take a 4/5 body might test, or they go prone and take 3 damage.
they can't actually make that test. There's no actual way they can pass that test. So they all go prone. And damage did they take?
They take 3 each.
So instead of knocking them prone, you just send them smushing against the wall. As these 4 Skaven in that zone, you just go with this wave of energy, and they all sort of just smack against the wall and lump down. It's sort of lifeless. Some internal organs ruptured or something in them. But they are limp and lifeless now. So now just the 4 Skaven on the other side of you all.
Tiara, you need to pick up your work. This is we're making light work of these Skaven.
Hey, I've dropped my share.
It's 2 your share.
3.
3.
Is there still one in front of me, isn't there?
No, Ash obliterated that one.
Okay. So
that's
there's
the one
4...
that in the other zone that Oberon went.
Okay.
So the other side.
I left the right for you.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got faith in you.
All right. I'm going to. So there are how many? 4.
Yep. They're all sort of huddled together. So if you have any blast effects, it'll.
No, I'm going to split my dice and I'm going to charge at them. I'm going to swing the warhammer that is at the end of my rifle as a club at the first one, and that's a 6, so that will hit. So that is 3 damage.
1 clan rat falls to your might.
And then I turn the barrel of the rifle around and shoot the next one. So that's a 5 and a 2. The 2 becomes a 3, so 2 hits, which is another 3 damage.
And another one is blasted off its feet.
Club 1, shoot 1.
Nice. You've started to pick it up, have you?
And I don't need fireballs to do it.
Oh. Always so hot off with the damage when it comes out your favor.
So the 2 clan rats, they're going to try and gang up on Tiara. And turns out they miss. They are terrible. Lesson learned for GM. Clan rats terrible. As they both try and swing and they sort of get in each other's way, there are 2 spearheads hit each other and fail to do anything.
Start arguing at each other.
Yeah, they're like, no.
Fear and just
They're both. And yes, most certainly. You can see them like sort of start backing the corner, realizing they're trapped, not looking particularly happy about their situation.
Okay, so there's 2 of them left, yeah?
2 of them left, and both of them are trying to shove the other one closer towards the players.
Okay, cool. I guess I'd like to sort of... I'm thinking I want to sort of observe their behavior because I figure that they're probably pretty afraid at this point, but there's got to be another way out that they came in from. So I'd like to, I guess, sort of maybe an awareness or a intuition check to see what their sort of route of escape was going to be that they were planning.
Yeah, so you're sort of trying to pick up where they're looking towards to try and get, because there's obviously somewhere that they came out of.
Yeah, exactly. Try and get an idea of how we can get out of this place.
Yep. So go for it. It'll be just a pretty basic test. As you can see them, like they keep looking in the same sort of directions.
Yep.
Just a 1-4 test.
Yep. Mind.
Awareness. Yep.
Mind awareness. Cool. Cool. So I've got 3 successes there. You
can notice that both of them, like whichever one's at the back, keeps trying to push the other one forward and keeps looking over its shoulder at this sufficiently large crack in the wall.
Okay, cool. Would you consider that like a free action, or would that count as my action for the turn?
That's your action, trying to just sort of really study them. You're having to focus a little bit on it.
Okay, cool.
There's a bit of smoke and embers in the room now.
In that case, I'd like to start stepping towards the crack in the wall that they appeared out of, and I'd like to send Icarus in to try and bite one of their heads off. So Icarus
so you're
is
stepping
my
into zone
spirit
8.
guardian.
Yep.
So Icarus is my spirit guardian, Kadir's spirit guardian, which he found in Phoenicium. So Icarus is gonna jump in, sort of swoop in in his phoenix form, sort of blood, fire, and sort of like cinders coming off the back of his wings as he flies forwards. And he's just gonna make a single melee attack with his spirit strike. So it's only a poor attack. Are they poor defense?
They are poor.
Okay, cool. That's one success, so that's going to be 2 damage onto one of the Skaven.
And it's, one of them's just going to, Icarus just sort of flies in and continues its spirit. You just see it sort of fly through one of the Skaven, and it just slumps to the ground. It's hit maybe the Skaven's heart or something vital within, and the Skaven just, you see no actual wounds or anything, just it slump and die.
Oh, well done, Icarus. That was fantastic work.
And then it will go back to... so we'll go with Tiara, because you are in the zone with that Skaven.
Okay. I will just swing my rifle, the butt of my rifle, like a club. That's 2 successes. So it's 2 damage.
Yeah, if there's damage of pretty much any sort, it's a dead Skaven. As you just swing your butt of the rifle and just crack this one on the jaw, its neck sort of cocks and snaps as you do, and it slumps to the ground dead as well. All the Skaven have been cleared from the room. You can no longer hear any skittering or scuttering. Maybe just a few body limbs still sort of jittering in the deathly states, but nothing.
Burnt rat hair. Yuck.
How's everyone feeling? Are we doing okay?
Filth.
Yeah, the room sort of does smell like a bit of burnt hair, and still smells pretty sort of dusty as well from the rockfall in the corridor.
I guess we're going to have to find our own way out.
I saw those last 2 were looking towards that crack in the wall that looks like that where they came from. I think we should probably investigate.
Excellent. Was there anything on that that you need to look at before we head off? I know you got down a little hastily.
That's okay. I had collected the artifact. I wouldn't mind taking a look at the artifact, though, and sort of seeing what I can gather from its sort of magical qualities, because I assume that it's not just a regular sort of sphere that's looking at me.
Yep. So you take a look at the sphere that you'd sort of just tucked away to your side in one of your many sort of pouches or baggages that you have from the road. And as you open the baggage, you can see that a pupil looks at you and blinks from the sphere.
I think this is an eye. I think it's the eye.
What?
Yeah.
I think it may be the eye of the Beast King.
Tiara goes over to have a look. Oh, wow.
You can see it it turns ever so slightly and blinks again, looking at Tiara.
That is amazing.
Well, this is definitely what we came here to collect. Let's try and get our way out. Let's head through this crack in the wall and see what lies in the next chamber.
Okay.
Yeah. So the crack in the wall is sufficiently decent sized. Even Oberon would be able to make it through, though a little bit cramped. You can sort of
Have to duck
you go, and you can hear like a little bit of scraping of the armor. Like it's tight, but you get through. And so who's going to go first, though? Let's have
I'm the pioneer. I should probably go and
just gun drawn first.
Yeah, gun out.
I'll cast a Mystic Shield on you.
Thank you.
You've got so that's 4 rounds worth of Mystic Shield.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm going to go.
I was going to say, seeing as I basically block the tunnel, I'll bring up the rear, so if anyone tries to sneak up on us, I can deal with them and also screen you guys off.
I think that's wise. My defensive capabilities are only so much as Icarus can provide me.
So
I'll make an awareness check as I move in, just to try and see, make sure there's no Skaven hiding around the corner. It's no, 2. What's the difficulty?
we'll just make it basic. It's sort of the cavern is sort of lit by these weird lanterns with this sort of mechanical looking lanterns, I would say. They're glowing with this green sort of glow out of them.
Okay, so
pretty haphazardly sort of smashed into the wall. There's no real sense of architecture. It's a cave now, so it's some tunnel.
What? So that's what 4, 1.
You can see there's no Skaven around.
2 successes, no Skaven.
No Skaven around.
Okay, well, while I'm moving, I'll be reloading my cartridges.
No worries.
I think Kadir is holding up his action coal to let the light of it sort of glow in a little bit more of a warm red glow so that we can see a little bit further than the lanterns allow.
And move into the crack in the wall.
Yeah, and you guys move. Sort of, it doesn't directly lead into the next cavern. It takes, like a couple of steps, and you can see it sort of opens up into this. You can just tell by looking at it, especially Tiara as a Dward, and you can tell this is a dug hole. Like, this is a cavern that's been dug. It's definitely not natural in any way. It's very poorly dug, but it is dug nonetheless.
Okay.
And then we have Oberon, who makes up the end of the party coming through.
I might make a survival check, which I have training and focus in, to see if I can get a gauge if the number of Skaven that came through that crack are the only ones that have used this tunnel, or if there's more.
Yep.
So that would be, is that mind?
Yep, mind, and it will be a difficulty. So just due to the nature, we're going to make this a 2-4 test.
Okay. So it's 3 successes.
Cool. 3 successes. You will make that test then. You're pretty sure it's correct. There's some sludge and stuff. The ground is not exactly the best to try and look at tracks, but you're pretty sure it'd be about 85% sure. There's a slight bit of doubt that you might be wrong, but you're pretty confident.
That there's only those Skaven?
Yeah, you're pretty confident.
Okay, well, it doesn't look like anyone else has used this tunnel except for our friends that are up there now currently burning. So we should keep moving.
All right, let's follow through the tunnel.
Agreed. Keep following up behind. Obviously, sort of keeping half an ear out behind us.
Good call.
Yep. Alrighty. So this tunnel just sort of continues on for a while. These weird sort of mechanical lanterns with their greenish hued glow continue on down for quite a while. They're starting to become more increasingly abundant, these lanterns, as you get them. And you can you're now beginning to hear chittering and sort of tapping and like squeaking in rather higher pitched. And as the tunnel sort of bends around a corner now.
I'll turn around and just hold up my hand and say, just wait. Can you hear that?
You can hear the slight just chittering and the sound of squeaks and orders and words would be something you people might not use to describe what is being said, but it probably is to the Skaven.
Some sort of communication.
Yeah. You can definitely hear communication between different squeaks.
In hushed tones. I was going to say, in hushed tones, I whisper to them, ambush.
I don't think so. I think they companions to the ones we just killed, but I suspect they're expecting them to do the ambushing and bring us back. So they may be waiting for their companions.
That's a good point. Perhaps we... Is it too soon to suggest we dress up as Skaven?
I am not ruining my hair with the filthy rag that they were wearing.
I take that to no then. All right. Perhaps we just go in all guns and fireballs blazing.
Possibly.
They seem to react poorly to fire. Maybe you light the way.
I can do that. Icarus can fly ahead and light the way as we go through this tunnel.
Light the way, though?
I'll do the lighting.
Just throw a fireball.
Right. So you can see Icarus's ghostly apparatic form just sort of goes around the corner ever so slightly. Just it blends in sort of almost with the glow of the lanterns, and it's sort of you don't see where it goes, but it comes back and sits back on your shoulder, Gadir, and it will tell you. It sort of says telepathically to you, as it can't actually speak. You can hear in its mind that there are more rats. Like it tells you there are 3 more ratsmen, one much more deadly than the others, around the corner.
All right, he's brought me back the information we needed. It appears that there are more rat folk and potentially the leader of some kind. I believe we should probably bring down this leader and we can force the rest to flee.
How far ahead are they?
They're around the corner, maybe, I will say in zone-wise, they're probably about 3 zones away from you guys.
Okay, so...
And did I'll speak in my telepathic bond to my spirit guardian, to Icarus. Did they appear to be gathered together, or were they scattered around?
2 of them were together. One was sort of together, but sort of just off to the side of them. Wasn't invoking in the conversation with the others.
Okay. It sounds like we'll be able to take them relatively easily. I think we should carry on through. I'll go straight in and try and get a surprise fireball on them.
Sounds like a plan.
And with that, you can see lanterns behind you start flicking off. One by one, by one, by one. Until until you can start to see they start to increase in pace, flicking off.
All right, let's go, folks. Run.
We'll run around the corner.
And I'll cast a fireball.
And you can see these 2 clan rats just sort of, there's something there.
Oh, no. Only 1 success, which I don't think is enough.
No!
I failed to cast.
What are you doing?
I conjure a bit of flame into my quarterstaff and sort of swirl around with my hands and go to throw it towards the Skaven, but I've misjudged the curve of the path that we're heading through, and it seems to sort of just fizzle into the wall and miss.
Oh dear! See the 2 clan rats? They sort of look as it hits the wall, and they're like, it's like.
What does the 3rd rat look like?
There is no 3rd rat.
Oh, shit.
As the lights begin to continue turning off behind you, they're now only about a zone behind you. The lights are all turned off.
Oberon, do you want to go?
Yep. Just before I do, when I look behind us, do I see anything with my witch sight, or can't tell what's going on?
Nothing with witch sight, no.
Okay. All right. So we've just got the 2 that we can see.
Yep, the 2 clan rats.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to attack them and split my attacks between the 2 of them.
Go for it.
Say again?
Go for it. Go.
Awesome. Yep, that's a 5 and a 6 for the first one.
And he is smattered down by your quarterstaff.
And the second one, 6 and a 4. So
the other one is you sort of just swing one way, one flies up in the air, just smacked apart, and the other one you just sort of bring your staff back down, cracking its skull.
I turn and look at Kadir, and beneath my helm, give him a withering gaze. All he sees is me turn to look at him, though.
Don't give me
Alright.
a look like that.
We're now going to go. You can see the lights turn off in the zone behind you.
Tiara's going to put her back to the wall because the spirit guide said there was 3, and she's just going to scan the area with a rifle.
Go for a what is it in this game? Perception.
Well,
I've been playing
Awareness?
awareness. Sorry,
It'll probably
I've
be
been
an
playing
awareness.
way too much
It'll be
D&D over this break.
It'll be an
awareness,
awareness
soul.
against their stealth, right?
Yep. So
Maybe
Okay.
mind
Was
awareness.
it mind?
against the
Mind
body
awareness?
stealth.
yep. Let me know how many. Let me know how many successes you make.
Oh, okay. What's the difficulty?
Just go for a basic 4 test, but it will be depending on how many successes you get.
Okay, so I don't have focus, so that one stays a miss. So 3, 2 4s and a 5.
You see nothing.
Shit.
And so we go back to the top of initiative order, and it will start with something else.
Yay!
Up behind Kadir pops this rat with 2 daggers in its hands, ready to strike. It's sort of, instead of striking though, it's going to lunge for the bag, of which contains the eye.
Oh dear.
And so it's going to make a grapple test. It's going to be an opposed, what are we? Strength, trying to
Body.
Athletics?
an opposed body test.
Just a straight body test?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is not going to go well. I got no successes.
As it snatches the bag from you and begins to scurry down the hall, and as it does move into the next zone, the lights go out of that zone as well. So the only lights are now in your zone.
Kadir, can you light up the area around it?
I can certainly try. Icarus, I think it's time to stoke your phoenix spirit and light up the entire room, or the entire hallway at least. And I'm going to cast Phoenix Spirit on Icarus. So it's a 5-2 check. So that's going to last for 5 rounds. So Icarus is now big enough to carry all of us on its back. So the flames burst out of the side, and the wings sort of grow bigger. And he sheds more and more light throughout the rest of the room. And he's gonna. I'm gonna send him straight. Start going forwards to chase after after this Skaven that attacked me, and I'll follow along.
Cool. So the Skaven is no longer in the zone directly near. It does seem to have run past the next zone, but you are going to be. I'll let Icarus light up, but if the zone you're in, and a zone to either direction. So the zone you've just been and the zone you go to.
I think I'm also going to. I'll jump on Icarus's back because Icarus is also a fast flying creature rather than myself, who is a regular speed human. So yes, I'm gonna jump on Icarus's back and fly forwards, so we can go a bit further forwards along the hole.
Cool. So we'll let you for this round just move up to the next zone, mainly because you're having to pick yourself up in your from getting your bag stolen. But next round you'll be able to move 2 zones from then on.
Give that back! Give that back!
You still can't see the gutter runner or the Skaven with the 2 daggers. We all know what it is. So it is up to you guys to go next on where you wish, if you wish to follow Kadir, who has already decided that he's going to go get that back.
Okay. trying to see.
If you all come and join me up on top of Icarus's back, we can fly ahead and catch it.
So is the tunnel that we have? How is it? Like a straight line, effectively, like curves. Like, can we see where the Skaven got to, or further than?
You can't see the Skaven as yet. Icarus is not lighting up that much, so it's at least a couple of zones away from you two, at least.
Okay, but it's is it effectively a straight line that it's sort of going off in the distances too dark?
That you know of.
Okay. Can I try something, Tiara? And if it fails, you can jump on with Kadir.
Go for it.
All right. So muttering under my breath something about Kadir, which Kadir doesn't quite hear. Oberon starts gathering small storm clouds around himself as he attempts to cast Sigmar Storm and hopefully take Tiara with him. So, yep, that's 2 6s, so that's 2 successes. So I can teleport up to long distance away, avoiding hazards. And because I've got that extra success, I can take Tiara with me.
So you're going to jump on the back of Icarus?
No, if Icarus is coming up behind us, Skaven, we're going to teleport as far as we can, hopefully cut it off.
So you teleport to a zone, and as you thunder down, you sort of light up the room around you because there's no lights in that area. However, you can see as the flash of light bangs, all you see are these glowing red eyes in the area.
At which point, I'm going to drill those glowing red eyes. I'm going to put a shot right between them. Okay. Okay, so that's what's that? 2 6s, a 4, and a 3. The 3 will become a 4. So that's 2 4s and 2 6s. I'm then going to... okay, I'm going to expend... so I have 5 uses of my trader's cachet, which represents all the unique weird things I've collected on my travels. So as I've reloaded the gun, I've put in some of my special bullets, which gives me, and I'm going to use 2 more of those successes. So I'm going to have a net, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 successes.
You can't exactly see, but you had that brief glimpse of where something was, and you can hear as your shots strike home, and just this loud, sickening sort of wet thud as it must split through something fleshy.
Those shells I picked up in Azir were really good.
You just hear this sort of not particularly heavy, but this sort of just rumble as something hits the ground.
Are we still in combat?
Well, you guys currently don't know. We're going to go to the start of round, and I'm assuming Icarus might catch up to you and at least light up your area.
Yeah, Kadir and Icarus will fly up forwards and investigate this wet thudding sound that we heard.
So you go. You can see that there is definitely a Skaven holding a satchel that is just dead on the ground. There's not much of a head left.
I'll pick the satchel back up and stow it away in a sling over my shoulder, one that's hopefully a little bit more secure this time.
As you pick it up, I say, just try not to lose it again.
So that only gives me 2 uses of my trader's cachet left, though, until we rest or until we get to a city. So
no worries.
Well, there's no time to rest now. We're going to need to carry on to get out of this foul warren.
And so
I go up, and Tiara's going to have a really close look at the hole left, and really impressed with the shot, and wondering when she gets some more of those rounds.
Oh, you already said you need to go back to Azir to get them.
Damn.
Um,
Shouldn't have
And
said
so
that like
as-
a start.
so as Icarus obviously comes up to this zone, you can see the zone behind you. You can see there's a bit of light or moonlight, you would astutely know, coming down from the ceiling. It's not particularly big though. However,
Does it look like a giant phoenix would be able to fit through?
definitely not.
Can't get out that
Probably
way.
about, and it's probably a little bit high in the roof. You potentially
Is
there
it-
are other ways.
Long distance away or shorter?
It's definitely more than long distance.
Fair.
We're going to put it at least 2 zones up from you guys. So there's the room above you, and then there's this thing coming from wherever the ceiling of whatever this is.
Okay,
Do you wanna-
well, I have rope, but it's probably not that long.
I don't have much to offer in the way of climbing gear, unfortunately. I can take notes with my ink and quill as you try to latch a rope up.
I told you last time we were in Gairan, you should have got some of that rope. No, you said, I won't need rope. Well, this is what happens.
When do I ever need rope? Usually Icarus can fly me places.
Well, now we need rope.
I'm just quiet as they natter on like an old married couple. Once they settle down and sort of just, I assume, lightly glowering at each other, I suggest, what if Kadir, your phoenix, takes us up and I teleport us from there?
We could definitely do that. Icarus, would you like to fly us up to the top of this chamber?
Sure.
I'm not a Caradron. I'm not a Caradron. I hate this.
Come on, you've grown to love Icarus. You know that he's friendly.
And as you continue your bickering, you can hear this loud guttural roar come from down the cavern, and all you can hear
Was that you,
after the
Oberon?
roar is just this thud, 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 thud. It's these loud, heavy, sort of ground shaking sounds come before you.
And I start reloading my rifle again.
In response,
You
I
can
say, I think it's the sound of our inaction.
That is the sound of inaction right there, yep.
You can begin to see in the zone in front of you a rat ogre.
Oh.
The foulest of vermin.
It just roars, and these 2 clan rats beside it sort of just goading it forwards more and more. This beast howls, and we go into initiative again. So you will be lucky that you will get to go first.
Awesome. All right,
So
well...
same order. All of you will get to go before the rat ogre and clan rats. So there are 2 clan rats and a rat ogre.
So I think I'm still on the back of Icarus, aren't I?
Yes, you are at this point.
Yeah.
I had 4 rounds, so I think it's probably maybe got 1 more round before it runs out. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll go
I guess
first.
I'll. I think what I want to do is I want to. Is there this? You said this was quite a tall chamber. Is there any like rocky outcrops up on the side of the chamber that I'd be able to go and perch on?
No, it is very poorly made, and any sort of juttering, most certainly, just you are quite sure is not stable.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I'll dismount from Icarus and say, Icarus, you'll need to be my protection for this next round, and I'll just cast a fireball just straight into the middle of the 2 clan rats that are trying to goad this rat ogre on, try and catch him by surprise. And that's going to be 3 successes. So each of the things in that zone take 4 damage, and the zone is minor hazard for a turn.
All right, so the two clan rats are immolated by your fire. As you hit the rat ogre, though, you can see its burn runs up its arm, and it just roars in anger, even just at this bestial, ferocious anger, and it will move into your zone.
Oh dear.
So it's now in the same zone as you all.
Okay. Well, I might go unless Oberon has something exciting to do.
Go for it.
So I'm going to
All that personal
move.
growth.
I'm going to move back out of the zone that I'm in.
Yep, so you're going to move into the last zone of the cavern that you can see.
Just so I get a clearer shot at the big stinky red ogre. And nothing fancy. I'm just going to shoot it because I need it. Oh, that's one of those is a 1. That's not going to help. What's its defense?
Defense is good.
Okay, so let's not flash. So I am. So my shooty bit is average. So I need 5s. So that's 2 4s and a 5. So 1 hit, and then the focus will turn the other into a 5. So 2 successes.
2 successes. Damage.
So that will be 2 plus 6, so 4. 2 plus successes is 4.
Cool. It just, as you land a shot in its arm, it just sort of, you just see it look over at its arm and just look back and snarl with a spittle sort of coming out its mouth. Oberon, your turn.
All right. I want to shout to Kadir to say, "Lend me your strength," meaning magically. However, is he still able to help me channel this round, or because he's already taken an action, he can't?
He's already taken his actions this round.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Use
you could do,
You go?
we could actually. You can't use our soulfire, can you? Because you're
No,
No.
I can't.
No.
That's all right. I'll take the risk.
Damn, you wouldn't have your soul given up to someone else. I know it's Sigmar, and I know he's got a holy cause, but man, we could really use your soul right now.
Well, seeing as he's the one that soul binds us all, that's all right. So I start to cast a spell, one that neither of you have seen me cast before, and it actually looks quite different from all my sort of usual lightning-based spells. And this sort of mist starts forming around me and around the rat ogre. So I'm casting Crown of Asphyxiation.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So I've got 2, and I can't turn any of the others up higher. So it loses 1 defense, and it loses 1 damage, ignoring armor.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to take. So it takes a point of damage that ignores its armor.
Yep.
Yeah,
And it drops the level of defense.
So just for note, it'll be average defense from here on out.
Okay, that makes it a bit easier.
How long does that last for?
I think it's till the end of battle. Let me just double check that because I didn't write that in my quick notes. 1 moment.
No, that's all good. Well, it won't matter for the sec. I'll go through my attacks while you look that up. So the rat ogre,
Easy.
it's definitely looking down at Tiara, not very happy at the shot that landed in its shoulder. So
It's going to move zones, is it? Because I'm a zone away, remember?
so it's going to look and going to try and move it's going to move forward to your zone, just angered at the last thing that it saw do something. The magical sort of effects, it doesn't really notice who cast them, but it knows where a gun comes from and it can smell the smoke.
Ow.
So it's going to make an attack. So it gets an extra thing. So what is your defense? Because it is superb when damaged.
Oh dear.
You still have
poor.
my mystic shield because of the +1.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
So plus that takes me to average.
So it's going to... Oh, wow, that's still 3 stages higher.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Do you have any
So
more
it's
of those
got...
rounds?
So
I do
it's
actually,
going,
but yeah.
it's going to swing its bladed fist. And let's have a look what we get. So you're going to take 5 points of damage as it just swings. What's your armor? What's your armor, sorry?
1.
So you're going to take 4 points of damage.
Okay. Okay. Ow.
That's going to seriously hurt. How much toughness do you have?
I've got 7 toughness. So I'm not on the wounds yet, but ow. As a Duarden too, I also have 2 stubborn to die. So
it's then going to spend its point of metal.
oh, good.
And it's going to turn around and light the zone behind it on fire with its warp fire gun.
Oh,
That's where I am.
that's not good.
So we're both over and so. Ooh.
I'm average defense.
Yeah. Oh, with this, it is poor. So, it's going to get 3 successes. All right. So it's going to do 4 points of damage minus your armor each.
Yikes.
All right, so I take 2.
Yep.
And I'll take 3.
And then both of you now need to make a difficulty 6-1 fortitude test or become poisoned from the warp fire.
Oh dear.
So it's fortitude
Is that body?
Yeah, body. Difficulty number 6-1. So you need to roll 1-6 on your body check or become poisoned.
Nope.
Oh, I've got one.
All right, so it seems the Stormcast's God-forged body saves him from the poisoning, but you get a deep sort of gash from the gout of warp fire, and it looks a sickly green.
Oh, I don't feel so good.
You don't look so good.
Your arm is glowing green. We'll say your left arm. Just
All right. Cool. So it's back to me now, yeah?
yeah.
All right. I'm not going to have any of that. I can't deal with any of this again. So I'm going to start just by casting an arcane bolt onto this rat ogre, which is going to be 5 successes. So that's going to be 6 damage.
Yep.
How's he looking?
Give me a sec. Well, you can see it's like the arcane bolts are, and you managed to, with your knowledge of what that warp fire gun did to you, you've aimed for its arm, and you can see some of the cabling start to rupture on the warp fire gun, and it sort of just start hissing on its arm.
Okay.
You might have done some damage.
Going to use a point of metal to cast incandescent form on myself.
Good plan.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to go off 5 successes, which is really good, considering I needed 5s. Cool. So, so for 5 rounds, I've got +2 armor, and his melee and accuracy is -1 against me.
Cool. Awesome. So we go into... Yeah.
Okay.
Who's going? And Andrew, you're in the zone with it, so we'll let you go next.
I am going to sort of reel backwards, shoving in some of my... You use the last 2. I'll see what I guess I roll first. So he's average now, yeah?
Yeah, he dropped down.
Okay. All right, so 2 3s, a 4 and a 6. So the 3 will become a 4. So it's 3 successes. I'll use my last 2 Trader's Cachet till we rest, which makes it 5 successes, which means it will be 7 damage.
Whew. Nice.
I'm then going to spend my metal, and I'm going to shoot him again.
Bring it down.
And I'll explain.
3 successes. I can't put any more stuff in it though, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5 damage.
As your first shot, you can see ruptures again the arm with the warp fire cannon, exploding its arm into gory bits as it hits something vital. The next shot, while it's howling and roaring in pain, puts it right between the eyes, and you see the beast thud forward to the ground. Limp
still
and dead.
That still only counts as 1.
You just see this monstrosity just sort of limp forward to the ground. Just huge pile of butchered flesh.
Kadir, are you all right?
I think I'll be able to manage. How are you doing?
Oh, I'll be all right. Come here, let me have a look at that. I'm gonna make a medicine check.
I was going to. If you want, before you do, I can get you to gather around me and cast some of Sigmar's warming light upon you both, and hopefully heal you up a bit.
Oh, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah. So I'll wait till they come here, and so we're all in the zone together, and cast healing light.
Yeah. We're all just sort of.
So everyone gets back 2 toughness.
Oh,
Thank you, my friend.
thank you.
And I will have do a medicine check on the wound to see if it's poisoned. That would be mind, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the difficulty to check for poison, I wonder? A 3, a 4, a 6, and a 1.
3, 4. Do you have any ability to up that?
I've got training in it, but I don't have focus.
Okay. We'll let it succeed. It is pretty obvious that green glowing arm probably means poisoned.
Okay.
Does it need to come off?
You're pretty sure.
Cauterize it.
It's probably best that you get some medical attention to that arm as soon as possible.
I think we just need to get back to the town.
Yeah. I'll bind it as best I can. And then we need to get you back. Because, a medicine test allows you to diagnose and treat injuries and naturally occurring diseases. I'm assuming this is not a natural occurring poison.
Probably not.
So I can probably
with like glowing green.
Yeah, I can probably slow it, but I can't fix it. So we need to get to a town.
I mean, natural in the mortal realms is debatable on what is natural.
Yeah.
True.
So have leniency, but for this case, definitely no.
No.
Right.
But yeah, so I can tell what's wrong, and I can do a little bit, but I can't fix it. So
all right, shall we go with our plan from before to fly up on Icarus to the ceiling and teleport through?
I think we need to get out of here. Let's go.
All right.
And so you managed to get out without much fuss. We won't take rolling because there's nothing strenuous at the moment that you really need to do for any of the. So you fly up on Icarus and get you just close enough that you can all sort of just lunge yourselves out of this quite decently sized cavern. And as you come up, you
I was going to say, as they're lunging themselves, I'm just going to teleport myself with a bit more flair. So I'm going to sully myself. Yeah, basically, I get struck by lightning and reappear up there. Just give them a hand.
Jesus Christ! Just stop doing that. That's so loud.
As you just sort of both of you just blink and rub your ears a little bit from both the light and the crack as he managed to do this, and you come up in the middle of a forest. You can see this thick as anything. Like there's just trees and vines and ferns and. However, you do recognize this forest. This is definitely the Everglades that surround the city of Hallowforge.
So I will. I'll get out. I'll entice Scritch out of my pack, my story friend, and just to work out. Look up at the celestial bodies and compare it to his little glowing fur and work out exactly where we are.
You're probably about half a day out of Hallowforge. Half a day forward.
So we'll push on, I think, because we need to get Kadir some treatment as soon as possible.
Did you have survival skills?
Yep.
Would it be possible to look using your survival skills to see if there's any plants nearby that help treat poisons? Or
yeah, I can have a look.
I mean, yeah, this is the realm of life, so
I figured.
Well, would that be so? I've got law and survival.
I'll allow you to make it on whichever one you choose fit, because both do sort of fit for me on that roll.
So presumably either one's going to be mined. They're both the same then, so it doesn't really matter because I've got training and focus in both.
Yep.
So that's.
I'll give you an extra focus then on whichever you choose to take because they both apply.
So it's a 5, a 5, a 4, and a 1. So I don't think they're even adding focus to those two. Oh, sorry, 2 1s it is. It's a 2 5s and 2 1s. So adding focus to those 1s is not going to help. So, but 2 5s.
Yeah, 2 5. You do know there is potentially, if you can find a source of water, a herb known as glimmergreen that may be able to help. It is well known for being a cure of magical ailments.
Okay, well, as we'll, I think if we keep moving, and as we're moving, I'll make awareness checks to look for any little stream that may contain it.
Also, I asked Kadir if he would send up his Phoenix to see if it can scout ahead for us and inform us if it can find any bodies of water.
Yeah, so Kadir is starting to feel the effects of the poison now. He's sort of swaying back and forth as he walks and staggering, and he's sort of whispering to Icarus back and forth a little bit. So yes,
so it's 2 6s.
We're gonna make it.
And 2 6s, a 5, and a 4 for awareness.
We need to
get back to the city. 2 6, a 5, and a 4. Well, you definitely you can hear sort of. I guess a trickle somewhere off in the forest. It is, however, not directly Corwood, but you can hear a trickle sort of roundward. So
okay, I'll get Scritch out because he has natural survival, and so see if you can get him to head off towards the water. So presumably that would be some sort of beast handling check.
Yep.
So would that be just mind again? I guess.
Yes.
Beast handling, yeah.
Yeah.
Or would it be soul because it's a companion?
Actually, yeah. We'll go with soul because it is something that's bound to you.
Yeah. 3 4 6. That's probably enough to convince him to go and find some water.
Yep. Yeah, he doesn't take much convincing. Yeah, a simple success will convince your companions most of the time.
And I'll follow him as he goes. Come on, he's found some water.
You can see this sort of little ferret. Just go. Is it a ferret? Now, have you chose to make your story a ferret?
Yep. He's a little ferret. Yep. Little ferret.
So you can see sort of like every so now and again, because there is quite a bit of thicket and ferns and tall grass and all that sort of stuff, it just sort of stops. Goes on a rock to make sure you're following exactly where it's going every now and again. Just, very almost meerkat-like, just standing up straight. Make sure I'm here going forward.
I just put an arm around Kadir to help brace him up and help him as we head towards the water source and follow Tiara.
Yep. And so then when we find it, presumably that's another awareness check to find the plant. Or survival.
So what you managed to find is a waterfall sitting atop. So like nothing massive, just sort of maybe 4 or 5 meters. A stream dropping down like just a small cliff face into this sort of pool pond that then goes off into a little creek.
Okay. Well, I will do a survival check. 4 4 4 5, and so one of those 4s becomes a 5. So 5 5 4 4.
Yep. You can notice right behind the waterfall itself, you can see the weed the herb that you have been searching for, glimmergreen. Okay. In its most favourite spot is generally behind falling water.
So I will duck under. I'll fill up my water skin as I go, and then come out with the companion. Here, Kadir, drink this water, and I'll see what I can make out of make a poultice out of the herbs.
Yeah, I'll drink some of the fresh water from Garan.
So that would be 2 3 4 5 2 3 4 5 for medicine.
Yeah. And she sort of just make a sort of paste well known that like this can potentially help. Glimmergreen never so a little bit of lore for anyone who Glimmergreen never grows anywhere that Chaos's taint is touched. Is a herb of pure sort of order and pure of the Lady Alariel herself. So well known cure for potentially chaotic influenced ailments. And so you make the poultice and sort of just rub it on Kadir's arm, and you can see the glow die down. It's not sure whether you have healed it completely, but you've certainly made it better. And Kadir, almost instantly, you can feel some of the malaise sort of wear off.
I think this should hold us till we get into the town.
I think you notice as you're treating the wound on my arm that like you have to remove my gauntlet as you're treating the wound, and you notice that there's the burn scars all the way up my arm, and it looks like it's actually a long ago that there was these burn scars. There's also the poison there, but there's previously there was another wound there. And then you treat the wound.
Seeing how injured Kadir is, and the fact that he was doing poorly on the walk here, and now that we're able to try and help clear out some of this poison a bit, can I throw up another healing light to try and help aid in that, to give him some toughness back and help sort of perk him?
Yeah, and whatever you roll will also give everyone who drank the fresh water of Guran an extra point of health back regardless as well.
Excellent.
Cool. All right. So 3 successes.
Oh, thank you, friends. I'm feeling much better.
So that gives 3 points of health back, I think, for every success, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you all gain 4 points of health back, 4 points of toughness.
So I'm much better.
Yeah, I'm fully healed as long as my poison is being sort of held at bay.
Yeah. Right, we'll need you to make a test now, just on your poison. So can you make a difficulty 4-1 body test now?
Is it just a body or like a fortitude? Or
just a body, straight up. Fortitude, sorry, fortitude.
Fortitude? Okay. I got 1 success.
Cool. You are definitely feeling better. You're still a little groggy, so there's probably you still feel like, I don't feel 100% still, but you definitely do not feel ill like you did, like sickly ill like you did before.
I think I can manage to get to the next town, back to the city of Hallowforge. Hallowforge. I think I can manage to get back to the town of Hallowforge. Thank you for your aid, friends.
And, we will push on.
And so, as you sort of roundabout up the top, just going around about to get at the top of the waterfall, you can clearly see Everpeak in the distance. Everpeak being the giant skyscraper of a mountain that pierces the very sky and clouds itself of where Hallowforge sits beneath. And that is where we'll end our first session.
Excellent.
You can see Hallowforge. You can see Hallowforge off in the distance.
Almost. No one died, but we came close.
Oh, yeah, Skaven did.
Yeah.
That don't count.
That red ogre was problematic.
The combat is certainly fast, furious, and deadly in this game.
Oh, yes.
But
good.
That is going to be the end of our first session. Normally they will run for 2 hours, but we want to keep this one nice and short to sort of just set up the story. And as a last thing, you can feel inside the satchel the eye run around, just sort of moving about inside your satchel. And so we'll be back this time in 2 weeks, and we'll do this every fortnight with a session. The plan is to do the first, 10 sessions of the series. And so this time every Monday night here in Australia, I'll put up another session soon. But thank you everyone for watching. Thank you most of all to the players for coming and playing. You guys are amazing. Also, don't forget to like the video on whatever platform you're watching it on, whether that be Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. It's streamed live to all of them, and it's the first time I've tried all of that. But yeah, so please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well if you haven't already. And last of all, thank you to everyone who supports the channel, whether it be likes, etc. And also, most importantly, thank you to the Patreons who support the channel and allow all of this to happen more than anyone. You guys are much appreciated. There'll be links in the description to both the Sinful Gaming Discord server and the Patreon for anyone who wishes to support the channel further. But that's it from us. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll see you all again in a fortnight, and I'll probably see you all before then as well. Ciao for now, and thank you for joining us.
See you guys.
Thanks.
Bye, folks.